do the gun manufacturers know that their products are going to the cartels? I mean, do you think that's something that they are aware of? Is that something they're promoting, or do they have control over that?
Yeah, they cannot not know, and they are participating in the proliferation of the problem, because Mexico is claiming, as has been claimed in a number of other suits, trying to push back against the federal immunity. The gun manufacturers, as you've asked, are obviously aware of what's going on with the cartels. They're not officially or illegally directly participating, other than in their failure, under the alleged failure by Mexico, for example, in this particular major case, in failing to control the downstream straw purchase sales to third parties in the United States that then result in sales to the cartels in Mexico.
Okay, you said downstream sales. What exactly is that? First of all, isn't Massachusetts is kind of a distribution hub for guns? So even though the gun makers are located in different parts of the United States, there's distribution companies in Massachusetts. So how do they get from Massachusetts to Mexico?
Good question. So the chain of distribution, as is typical in any corporation in the United States and elsewhere, is you have the maker of the product, who then puts it out to national and international distributors. The main distributor for all of these weapons is in Massachusetts, and that's one of the defendants. And then it goes from that distributor to dealers within the United States. As I said before, there's 50,000 dealers in the US and almost 10,000 in the 4 border states. So somewhere between the legal release and original sale of the manufacturer to the wholesaler / dealer, you have all of this illegal sales that are going on. So basically, the immunity is not 100%, because if there was any proof of a failure to properly control the distribution by the manufacturers, that there's a kind of a loophole, not a loophole, but an open door for suing them, but that hasn't been successful yet, because they have generally tried to be very careful about crossing their T's and dotting their I's on sales receipts, et cetera, and all the requirements of the government for sales of all those types of weapons and ammunition.
It's hard to picture exactly how it happens, but let's move on, because I wanted to know, what is Mexico asking for? What are they saying that their primary harm has been? I did read the case. I did see that they're saying it's harm to citizens as well as the government, because there's a cost to the government. So, and I think you said they're asking for injunctive relief, or what is Mexico asking for?
Good question. They're asking for 2 things, basically. One is billions of dollars of money damages, okay, because of all of the costs to Mexico, because of what has happened. But basically, Mexico is, in a sense, trying to act as if it's acting in a way which is protecting all of its citizens, and it's doing that, but it doesn't have the legal standing to be able to do that in the United States. A government cannot do that on behalf, a foreign government can't do that on behalf of its citizens. If the citizens had sued in the United States, that would be a different story, but you're not going to have a whole lot of Mexican citizens that are going to travel to the distribution center in the Northeast to file a suit. So that's why Mexico has asked for billions of dollars of money damages as recompense for all of the costs to the government and to the people because of the homicides of judges, of children in Mexico, of adults in Mexico, and all the havoc that's been wrought by the illegal trafficking of the guns. The other thing that Mexico is after is injunctive relief, to put a stop to the improper, or what Mexico calls the failure of the gun manufacturing defendants to be able to control downstream sales through wholesalers, through retailers, and gun dealers who are the ones who are secretly behind the scenes selling these guns in a way which is illegal and therefore resulting in these guns ending up in the hands of the cartels.
It's so it's such an I think it's such an interesting case, and it's interesting to me that probably people don't realize that this is even happening, and that some of the people who are probably the strongest voices against having what you'd call an open border are the same ones maybe wanting to protect the gun dealers, and they probably don't realize that this protection for them and this trafficking of guns to Mexico is one of the great reasons people are fleeing. So it's ironic. I think it's ironic, and I wonder.
In my view, by the way, I would have to say that I think they know exactly what they're doing, because nobody who is alive and breathing can counter the fact that all of this harm is happening in Mexico and in the United States. We have similar problems in the United States too, with illegal sales that result in American citizens being killed as well. But we are focusing on the Mexican case. So I should add that along with the concern you just articulated, a dozen of the state attorney generals in the United States have filed a brief in the Boston federal court in support of Mexico. That's New York, Connecticut, Delaware, California, for example. So you have a dozen attorney generals who have supported or in support of the government of Mexico in this suit. And one of their arguments is that you have various state laws, consumer protection laws, for example, basically laws which are designed to protect people, and the people can't be protected if you have all of this alleged failure of the gun manufacturers to police, so to speak, the downstream distribution of guns in a way that illegally results in the guns going from the manufacturer to the wholesaler to the retailer and the dealer resulting in illegal sales and people being killed in Mexico. Wow. And here in the United States. But Mexico is making its claim, obviously not on behalf of any US citizen, but on behalf of Mexican citizens.
And how does you mentioned the Remington case, how does the Remington settlement factor in here?
This is going to sound strange, but the first thing I have to say is I don't know, because the documents have not been released yet. As a part of that $73 million settlement this year, just a couple months ago, against Remington, the attorneys for the plaintiffs were able to, as a result of the settlement, not only get 73 million, which is going to be paid by insurers, not by Remington, which is either bankrupt or on the verge of bankruptcy, but basically a part of that settlement, a big part, is to get the documents, and basically those documents, according to the plaintiffs' attorneys in the Remington case, will establish the improper way in which gun manufacturers and ammo manufacturers have targeted, so to speak, youth and other, particularly adult males, in a way which, kind of like the tobacco litigation, I see a parallel there, was basically unfairly targeting consumers in a way which has resulted in the havoc that we're now discussing.
Well, I would love to check back with you, especially you say this case, we're going to probably hear something any day. Who's going to be deciding this? Is it the judge?
Yeah, the judge, Saylor is his name. He's a federal district, one of the federal district judges in Boston. He basically will be resolving this. It should be any day now. The latest, but things keep coming in. For example, 2 days ago, Letitia James, who's the state attorney general for New York, was able to successfully dismiss a case that the gun manufacturers had brought against her, saying that she couldn't use New York law as a vehicle for trying to get around the federal, the expiration of the assault weapons ban and the federal immunity law. So that was a very favorable development that was just filed with the court on Monday. to bring to the attention of the trial court that she has been successful in getting that case by the gun dealers against her dismissed. So that's a strong indicator. That's an indicator of the strength of the argument that Mexico has and the attorney generals for those dozen states have, and the reason why the court has taken so long to issue its decision.
Well, if you've enjoyed this talk and if you have questions for Professor Slomanson, please leave comments in the comment section. Stay tuned. We're looking into doing a live stream where you'll be able to ask questions directly. This is a very interesting case with implications for diplomacy, as well as the gun manufacturers and obviously the state of Mexico.